Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life.
Let's do it.
Well, winning isn't always the goal. It's always, to improve, be good teammates, and try not to be selfish.
Disney Club, the original idea was to meet new friends that all enjoy Disney, make new connections, and just get better acquainted with the school community.
And I think this is kind of important, especially because there's so many misconceptions about it that a lot of people don't want to stick to it or they give up.
Are you going to college to get a better degree or just to get smarter?
Democrats tend to have been a little bit less in favor of American exertion of power or American imperialism.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
This is the Tauntonian Podcast.
Taunton High Student News.
We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution.
We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them this morning, as they prepared for their journey and waved goodbye and slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Anna Olivia, and I am a senior at Taunton High. This segment of the Tauntonian Podcast would answer the questions of what are the political parties and what do they believe in. Today, to help me answer this question, is one of our Taunton High teachers.
I am Mr. Gillen. I am the Social Studies Curriculum Supervisor at Taunton High School, which is a fancy way to say a department head. There's 17 teachers here, including me, and I am privileged to teach the Advanced Placement United States History class.
Okay, I want to start off by asking what's the fundamental difference between the Democrats and Republicans?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Generally speaking, Democrats in the United States for the past few decades have been more socially liberal, so they've been more in favor of things like gay marriage.
This morning, the Supreme Court recognized that the Constitution guarantees marriage equality. In doing so, they've reaffirmed that all Americans are entitled to the equal protection of the law, that all people should be treated equally, regardless of who they are or who they love.
Freedom of speech issues, things like that in the arts. They tend to be in favor of a more expansive federal government when it comes to social issues too. So more money on infrastructure or for Medicare and Medicaid, so medical issues. They tend to be more interested in expanding welfare, but also things like trains and highways and railroads and things like that. Okay. Whereas the Republicans tend to favor a smaller government. They argue that smaller government leads to more personal freedoms and also can tend to be more socially conservative. So they've been slower to adopt things like approving of gay marriage, and they were slower to adopt things like accepting legalization of marijuana and so forth.
Okay.
Generally the case. This is a little bit funky one, but Democrats tend to have been a little bit less in favor of American exertion of power.
Our homes, our nation, all the things we believe in are in great danger. This danger has been created by the rulers of the Soviet Union. The future of civilization depends on what we do, on what we do now.
And more about internationalism, where the Republicans been generally more in favor of spending more money on national defense.
Now with the up-and-coming election in November here in Taunton, and the presidential election also being in November of 2020, I want to ask how each of the parties view the Constitution.
It's changed quite a bit, right? So like the Democratic Party was opposed to civil rights.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident.
The Democratic Party is more aligned, I think, to civil rights issues than the Republican Party. That's debatable, but that's kind of like how that trends. So, and more recently, the Republicans have morphed slightly, and there's probably less social conservatism, right? So I don't think there's a ton of vocal Republicans arguing against gay marriage or legalization of marijuana isn't as big a thing anymore. So the Republicans have probably become a slightly more liberal on some social issues and a slightly more populist.
For the Tauntonian podcast, I am Anna Olivia.
According to every instinct in my body.
Hello, this is Mrs. Buckley. I'm an English curriculum supervisor at Taunton High School, and you are listening to the Tauntonian podcast.
Growing up doesn't mean you should stop liking anything Disney. High schoolers like anything Disney just as much as an elementary schooler or middle schooler, even the high schoolers here at Taunton High. And how do I know? Every Friday in B312 in the Foreign Language House and B House on the 3rd floor of the school, some of Taunton High's biggest Disney fans meet there for a Disney meeting in the high school's Disney Club, where they talk about anything Disney, talk about Disney movies, talk about the Disney parks, talk about any Disney news about Disney movies or the parks, and sometimes they watch Disney movies. The host of the club is a teacher named Mr. Rivera. When did the Disney Club first show up?
Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Rivera. Disney Club first showed up in 2014, I believe.
What was the idea for the Disney Club?
Disney Club, the original idea was to meet new friends that all enjoy Disney, make new connections, and just get better acquainted with the school community.
Okay, what does the Disney Club do?
The Disney Club, we typically have a very chill time. We watch movies, we get together, we laugh, we see cartoons, we see funny videos, videos about theme parks, things of that nature. You know, kids that really like Disney, you get a kick out of it.
The Disney Club always does fun Disney stuff, such as playing Disney games, and they sometimes talk about Disney news, such as news about a new Disney, Marvel, or Star Wars movie. But other times, the Disney Club watches a Disney movie, such as Pirates of the Caribbean or Bolt.
There's a new Disney cruise ship coming out.
How many students joined the Disney Club?
Initially, we had about 25 students. But over the time, it decreases, and I think that happens to a lot of clubs, not just Disney Club.
Okay. Did they ask you to be Disney Club president, or did you choose to be Disney Club president?
So I'm not really the president. I'm what they call an advisor, right?
Okay.
An advisor is the adult that's kind of in charge of the administration of the club. But the president actually needs to be a student, and the current president is Matthew Callahan.
Okay. Do you like being the advisor of the Disney Club?
I enjoy it very much.
Okay. The Disney Club watches movies that are in the Disney property, such as a live-action film by Walt Disney Pictures or an animated film by either Walt Disney Animation Studios or Pixar Animation Studios. And any movies made by anything owned by the Disney Company, such as films by Marvel Studios or a Star Wars film, count as films the club can show. And sometimes the Disney Club shows films that were brought to the U.S. through Disney rights, such as Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. And since Disney acquired 20th Century Fox this year, any film by 20th Century Fox counts as a film owned by Disney that the Disney Club can watch, such as 1997's Anastasia. Why do you think the Disney Club is good for the school?
I think it brings students together with a common interest and an opportunity for students to make new connections with each other, build networking, and also get familiar with different faces from the school.
Okay, what do students love about the Disney Club?
I don't have a consensus as to what they really love the most, but they like the general environment of it being chill and get to watch good movies and still tick off the community service component when they do their brag sheet as a senior.
The Disney Club also watches Disney videos, such as a Mickey Mouse short or a video taken at the Disney parks, and other times they play fun Disney games online.
Because that's where I have my medal. Oh, Oh, but it hurts like here, so I'm assuming it's not going to find a place. Yeah.
Why do you think students join the Disney Club?
My guess would be that they just love Disney, and or they have friends already in the Disney Club and they want to be together after school for a little while.
Wow. She's in the first ever cosplay I've ever seen in the show. I was like, oh, thank God I finished it. I was like, oh my God, my teacher would have killed me if I didn't.
I did have $5. Ever.
If you are a big Disney fan, then join Taunton High's Disney Club, which meets every Friday in B312 in the Foreign Language House and B House on the 3rd floor of the school from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and embrace your inner mouse with the other Mouseketeers. For the Tauntonian Podcast, I'm Brian Volpe.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Rosenberg, a guidance counselor at Taunton High School, and you're listening to the Tauntonian Podcast.
Hey guys, it's Rolly Damaris, and today I'm going to be talking about cardio versus weightlifting and their effects on your overall health. And I think this is kind of important, especially because there's so many misconceptions about it that a lot of people don't want to stick to it or they give up. And I think it's kind of important to understand what it really means to be healthy. So first, I just wanted to talk about one of the things that might be causing way more setbacks and progress in your routine. And I think that one of the biggest problems is that when people decide to get in shape, their solution is to do as much cardio as they can because they associate the running with burning fat. However, this is not the case because when you run for a while, you will start making progress. You're going to lose weight. However, your body will hit a plateau and then all of a sudden you're doing the same thing, but you're not losing weight anymore. Now, this brings me to the real solution, which is honestly weightlifting. The reason why weightlifting is so much more effective than doing any cardio is because your body will continue to burn calories after the workout, not just during the workout. And this actually increases your metabolism a lot, so you can have a lot more food throughout the day. I actually watched this video where this girl used an analogy to explain the difference between the two. So here's a clip from a video by Kelly Nicole, a fitness influencer.
Should you be doing cardio or should you be doing weights if you want to lose fat? So instead of losing fat, let's look at this as if you want to make money. The first method to making money is you just get a job because you want to make money. Now, if you don't have any education or anything like that, typically the only kind of job you can get is a pay per hour type of job. Just getting a job is comparable to just doing cardio. Just doing cardio, you are burning calories and you're probably going to be losing some weight. Let's go back to the job side. It's a pay per hour kind of job, X amount of hours a week, and you get paid this amount per hour. Now, let's say you want to make more money than you are making with the amount of hours that you're working. The only thing you can really do in a job situation like that, work more hours. Same thing is true on the cardio side of things. If you want to burn more fat than you have already burnt and you're kind of plateaued with the cardio that you're doing, the only option you have is to do more cardio, put in more hours to burn more calories. So let's say you lose this job or you stop doing cardio. What happens when you lose a job that was probably not really that high paying, just kind of paying your bills? When you lose that, there's probably nothing in your savings, there's nothing sustaining that income that you had. Same thing is true with cardio. When you stop doing the cardio that was burning your fat, well, you stop losing the fat and you stop keeping that fat off. It is not sustainable. So this brings us to method number 2. So instead of making the money through getting a job right away, you go to college to get an education. People typically do this to get, a little bit more specialty in a certain area so that you can make more money when you get out of college. The one thing about going to college is you usually have to pay money in order to make more money later. Now, the same holds true with weightlifting. Weightlifting is not the quickest method for you to lose weight. It just isn't, because you have to go through the process of building muscle. You have to kind of give a little, invest a little in yourself, realize that you're not going to lose a ton of pounds right away, but still do it anyway because you know in the end it's going to be super beneficial for you. That is exactly what it's like going to college. You go to college because you're investing in yourself. You know that right now kind of sucks, you're kind of broke, but you know that when you get out of college, you're gonna have the better possibility of getting a higher paying job. So let's say, you know, you're out of college, you get this job, you can also get promoted in this job. So instead of just making the amount of money you're making now, you might make more and more and more as the years go on. Same thing with just weightlifting. If you're weightlifting, you're going to be burning the calories you're burning in that actual lift, but you're also building muscle mass, so you're gonna eventually be burning more and more and more throughout a day because you're gonna have more muscle mass on your body the more you stay consistent with lifting. Now, just like a regular job, you can't expect to be promoted in one company if you keep bouncing around other companies. You can't expect to have more muscle mass, be burning more calories throughout a day if you're not being consistent with it. Consistency is key with getting that muscle mass in weightlifting. And it's sustainable weight loss, meaning that say you do get fired from this job, you probably did have enough money to have some money in your savings account to sustain you for a little bit until you find a new job. So let's say you stop weightlifting for a little bit, you probably have enough of an increase in your metabolic rate to keep that weight off and to actually see that sustainable weight loss that you wanted to see.
Another thing is that I think a lot of people get kind of discouraged in the beginning because when you start lifting, you're going to gain weight. However, if you took a pound of muscle and a pound of fat, the muscle does not take up nearly as much space as the fat does. I decided to talk to the owner of my gym who specializes in fitness and nutrition just to get his point of view on the subject. So I'm here with Keith, the owner of East Coast Fitness, and I'm just gonna ask him a couple questions. First, what I want to ask you was if someone came to you for advice on how to lose weight or get in shape, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to you have to have a perfect mix of weights as well as cardio, and you have to, cardio is two different things. It's slow burn cardio, which is a consistent steady pace, and a HIIT cardio, which is it's interval training. You go 20 seconds fast, 40 seconds slow, 20 seconds fast, 40 seconds 50%, and then you also have to mix in weights with that too.
So what would you say is the best method to have like long-term health?
Just monitor what you eat. I'm not a believer in cutting anything out. I know there's diets out there that you don't eat carbs. You don't eat. It's all your body needs carbs. Just stay consistent. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have days that you don't want to come to the gym or you don't want to do anything. And that, to me, that's probably those are my best workouts when I've dragged my butt into the gym or in the morning or after we close, I shut the doors and I work out myself, and that's actually one of the best workouts.
I think that one of the most important things he mentioned was that everything is okay in moderation, and this is such a big point to make because being fit is not about eating less and cutting out food groups. It's about establishing a balance between what you like and what you need. I think this is a really important thing to know because nobody has ever made progress by restricting themselves. I think when you do this, you're just putting yourself through the same exact cycle over and over again, and you are just setting yourself up for failure. I honestly think that some of the best advice anyone has ever given me is that when you work out and eat healthy, it's not something that you do when you hate yourself or your body. It's something that you do when you love yourself. And that's such a cliche thing to say, but I honestly think it's so true because to be in a mindset where you can make these life changes is really important. I think it's kind of hard to get to that point, but once you get there, it really does change your life. This is Rolly Damaris for the Tauntonian Podcast.
I'm Allison Vicky, and in the next episode of the Tauntonian, I'll be talking to our two queens of the jungle.
I am here with Mr. Galveo, the web design teacher at Taunton High School. All right, hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good, how about you?
Good.
So the problem we're going to be talking about today, apparently there's a problem in the NBA that they're trying to raise the age restriction, where normally you could just go to college for 1 year, and maybe not even the full year, just go for the fall semester until the basketball season ends, and then you could just join the NBA when the new season starts. But they're actually debating whether they should raise it to like 2 or 3 years, maybe 4. All right. As a basketball fan, what is your reaction to the debate whether the NBA should raise the age restriction?
When it comes to the one and done rule, it's at this point archaic because a lot of these kids don't need the extra year in school, right? And a lot of these kids won't finish that degree. Yeah. And if they go right into college, they could, I don't want to say this, they could have the NBA counsel these kids so that they don't spend all their money. That was the first reason for that one and done rule. A lot of kids would skip college, go right into the NBA, and then waste all their money the first few years. Mm-hmm. So raising it, making it harder for them, it helps, but it doesn't. Because if you're in college for 4 years, you do get better, you do get stronger, but not everyone needs that.
Sponsorship money. Yeah. Like, you don't really get as much as you would usually.
Yeah, you can't get any money because you're in college. So.
All right. In your opinion, would a college basketball player be for or against this age restriction, and why?
It all depends on the college basketball player. Most kids that could even get into the NBA right out of college, right out of high school, will be against this because they're trying to get in. And it's leaning more towards getting rid of the one and done rule and just letting those kids get paid as soon as possible. Yeah, so a lot of these kids are coming from families that don't have any money.
Like, think of Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. Like, he came into the league after 1 year of college, and he had a really good season. Even though his team wasn't that good, he's shown. He almost beat Luka Doncic for Rookie of the Year. So, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but then for some people, that extra year, that 1 year in college makes their draft stock rise. So, every situation is different. Every situation is different. So, there really isn't like a concrete rule. Like in the NFL, they're in there for 3 years. But they need it because they need to get bigger, faster, stronger to get into the NFL. Basketball players really don't need that. You don't need to get bigger going into the NBA. You need to get bigger while you're in it.
Yeah. All right. In your opinion, how important are academics for a college athlete?
They are important. They should be the most important thing outside of playing your sport. I would push for it, but it all depends on why are they there. Are they going to school to get the degree, or are they just going to school because they have to? Especially when a lot of these colleges kids will have courses for some of these kids that don't want to sit in a room or a cubicle the rest of their life if they stop playing basketball, right? They would probably be better going to a trade school than going to a college, but the college has D1 scholarships, and a trade school doesn't have D1 scholarships.
Okay. And then last but not least, I have one more question. In your opinion, is being an athlete more important than finishing college?
In my opinion, no. Finishing college is more important than being an athlete. At the same time, why are you going to college? Are you going to college to get a better degree or just to get smarter? Most of them you're going in there to get a degree, to get a job. But if you're going to be an athlete and you already get in the NBA, then you got your job.
For the Tauntonian Podcast, I'm Noah O'Brien.
Hey, this is Mr. Jakes, the broadcasting director, and you are listening to the Tauntonian Podcast.
Can you state your name and your occupation?
Brad Sidwell, I'm the wellness curriculum supervisor at the football coach.
State your name, your age, and what position you play.
My name is Ken Kuroka. I'm 17 and I play cornerback.
My name is Devontae Mayfield. I'm 17 and I play receiver.
Like most schools, Taunton High takes their sports very seriously, and among those sports is football, high school football to be exact, where the coach, Brad Sidwell, puts his all into the students and makes them into wonderful young men.
Okay, and other than winning, what's the goal for your team this year?
Well, winning isn't always the goal. It's always, to improve, be good teammates, and try not to be selfish.
All right. And with the varsity softball team and the varsity baseball team dominating the championships, do you feel pressure to bring home the win?
Oh, no, none of that. It's all about educating our kids. Hopefully they learn. Winning's a byproduct of that. Certainly there's none of that.
So as we know, this female, maybe it was a female last year and this year.
Sure.
And do you think they get enough playing time like the boys, or?
Well, in terms of we've given all our kids opportunities.
Yeah.
The best players do play. And eventually that works itself all the way out over the course of a season. And, female, male, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I feel like the boys are more like headstrong towards winning. Are you trying to direct their...
Well, no, that's certainly our goal. But
Yeah.
I think we have to understand that before any of that happens, there's a lot of hard work
and dedication.
And not even dedication, just hard work and correct work, all being on the same page.
All right. So would you say, over the years of your football career, do you think high school football has helped you push you in the right path other than physically?
Yes, physically and mentally.
Who's the one person who pushed you to the peak of your athletic career?
My dad.
And does the anticipation of game day fuel your drive for success?
Yes.
Devontae, let's go. All right. So over the years of your football career, do you think high school has helped you push you in the right path, like physically or mentally, like more?
Physically and mentally, yes.
Do you think it's pushed you to do better with your grades and your work? And,
yes.
All right. But who's one person who's pushed you to the peak of your athletic career besides your parents?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather. Does the anticipation of game day drive your fuel your drive for success?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Savannah Hampton. Thank you for listening to this podcast about the Taunton High football team.
This has been episode 1 of the Tauntonian Podcast. The Tauntonian Podcast is produced by the students in the Writing for Publications and Podcast class at Taunton High School. Stay tuned for episode 2. Alice and Vicky will interview the new Queens of the Jungle.